Epilogue. Aira's first sensation was warmth. A gentle, unfamiliar heat spread across her skin. With eyes still shut, she tried to study it. It wasn't like the radiant heat of a hearth fire, or the cloying heat of Velthetta's dark magic, but something softer. Daylight. Memory flooded back, the Nightshawl giving way. She opened her eyes slowly, blinking against the dappled gold spilling through the weathered shutters. What is... where? Aira looked around. The air carried the scent of salt and drying herbs. The wooden beams overhead, the muted tapestries on the walls. She recognized this place, though it felt like looking at something from another lifetime. It was hers. Nia's bedroom. She lay still, feeling the weight of the quilts and the softness of the pillow beneath her head. This was the same bed where she once dreamed of adventure. Everything was exactly as she remembered, preserved like a shrine to a girl who no longer existed. But the light was different now. Real daylight streamed through the shutters, warm and golden and alive. Not the sickly gray half-light of the churn that had defined her childhood, but true day, the kind her father had promised her. Kai had done it. The thought brought both joy and relief so profoundly it stole her breath. He shattered the Nightshawl, freed them all. "Ah, you're awake," a voice murmured, calm and familiar. Aira turned her head, wincing as her muscles protested. Myr'ides sat nearby with a weathered picture book balanced on her knee. Aira recognized the book. The Age of Myr. Myr'ides looked up from the pages. "And about time, too. You had us all worried." Aira took a breath. Her ribs ached, but they were intact. Memories continued to swarm her mind in half-formed fragments. The Black Sentinel, Velthetta's manipulating tongue, the ebon crystal exploding, and Kai standing his ground, refusing to let the darkness win. Instinctively, she touched her side where a faintly glowing sigil gleamed through bandages. "How long?" she rasped. She hadn't realized how dry and raw her throat had become. Korik, leaning against the doorway, stepped forward and handed her a cup of water.
"Yeah, for 7 days. When I dragged you here, you looked like death's own breakfast. And not the good bits neither. Weren't sure you'd pull through, if I'm honest."
Aira sipped carefully, feeling the coolness soothe the fire in her throat. She set the cup down and asked the question that mattered most.
"Kai, is he here?"
Korik's expression darkened.
"No, love. He's alive, but barely. He's not here, though. He's at Barrendark. Myr'ides patched him up proper. Did what she could with what was left of him after the fight."
He rubbed a bruised hand over his face.
"But the lad hasn't so much as twitched since we got here. And the elders, they're giving me the Void's Pit for answers on whether he ever will."
Korik's words pressed into her heart like a stone. She had fought beside Kai, trusted him and relied on him. Now he was barely alive, she repeated, almost absently. "He'll make it. He'll wake," Myr'ides said. "With every fiber of my being. I know he'll pull through." Korik let out a slow breath, nodding toward the window.
"Northern coast's a right bloody wasteland for now. But with the Nightshawl gone, and Velthera's lot scattered to the winds, the rest of the land's starting to breathe again."
He scratched at his jaw.
"I got my runners scouting south and east, looking for places fit to build. Places folk wouldn't have thought twice about before now."
Aira turned her head. Sunlight painted shifting patterns across the wooden walls. The weight of the Nightshawl had lifted, its suffocating gloom giving way to something fragile but real. This was now a world reshaping itself in the wake of their fight.
Word's spreading about what you and Kai did, Korik added. People know your name, girl.
He smirked. I didn't do this. Kai did. Korik leaned in, his voice quieter but no less firm.
I love. The boy damn near carved himself into pieces for this. And those who know the truth won't forget it.
He leaned back again.
But people need something to hold on to. They need symbols, heroes, all that bollocks. And right now, with Kai laid out, that symbol's you.
Era stared down at her hands. Exhaustion settled deep into her bones. She hadn't asked for this. She didn't want to be the center of anything. But the world didn't care what she wanted. She lifted her head. And what happens now? Myr'n set the Age of Myr back onto the mantle. The Nightshawl is only one realm out of 9, dear, she said.
And there's trouble brewing,
Korik added, his voice turning grim.
Not the kind we're ready for, neither.
Era stiffened. What kind of trouble? Korik murmured, rubbing a hand over the back of his head as if considering how much to say.
You were out cold when it happened. But when the Nightshawl lifted, wasn't just the land that changed.
He leaned forward.
Something else woke up.
Era's pulse quickened. What?
It was a roar, deep and furious, like the whole bloody world was splitting open. Rolled across every corner of Denetta, straight out of the Myr'ides to the east.
His voice dropped lower.
Every living soul froze dead where they stood. Ground shook so hard I thought the earth was coming apart beneath us.
It was the worm, Myr'n added. A slow, creeping dread settled into Era's bones. Did the Worm Mother know she was the one who had taken her crystal? Or was she simply reacting to its disappearance?
I may. And now the bloody beast's awake.
A chill traced its way down Era's spine. Her hands curled into fists against the blanket. One fight had ended, but another loomed just beyond the horizon. As she moved, the air was taken out of her by the bruises lining her ribs. This battle had taken something from her, but Kai had given more, and the burden of his sacrifice pressed against her like a phantom wound of its own. We need Kai, she said. If he was alive, then there was a chance she could wake him. She had to. As long as the ninefold fracture still stood, Kai's fight wasn't finished, and neither was hers. And she couldn't do it alone. Myr'ides might have done all she can, but I'm resourceful. I'll find a way to wake him. Gritting her teeth, she pushed herself upright. Every muscle protested the movement. And when he wakes, we'll finish this. The witches, their realms, every last one of them. Korik eyed her from head to toe. Then, finally, he nodded.
You're stubborn as a mule, just like Kai, and just like Eric was. I reckon we'll get along just fine, you and me.
Era let out a strained breath, staring out the window. The sea shimmered in the morning light, waves catching the first rays of Ryn. For the first time in as long as she could remember, there was hope. She vowed to carry that hope forward, no matter the cost. In the dust-laden heart of Barandark, Kai slept. His body seemed caught in the grip of something mysterious and unseen. The wards and mendings woven into his bandages pulsed in slow intervals, catching the flickering light of the fire licking up the nearby flue. But as Myr hummed around him, sealing his physical and spiritual wounds, tethering him to the waking world, even as he lingered beyond it. On the worn wooden table beside him, the crystal lay inert. Its crystalline surface was dull, its depths unreadable. But it was not broken, not in the slightest. A sliver of dawn crept through the narrow window. Pale light spilled across the floor, stretching toward him as if beckoning him back, caressing his cheek like a soft promise of renewal. His chest rose and fell in quiet rhythm. A single tether of Ptismir stretched out beyond his body, and at the other end of it, somewhere, his Ilir flickered, seeking a way to return again.